FloTrack here with Adrian Wildschutt just closed in a 57 to win the 5K here at the BU John Thomas Terrier Classic. Outkicks Nico Young, kind of an upset. I don't know if many people expected you to come and drop that crazy 12:56, but you didn't. Tell me a little bit about today's run.
Well, I had a decent. After the cross champs in December, I had a really good bow. A few weeks in South Africa, and then I got back Flagstaff. And the weather's been amazing, and we were putting some decent blocks together. And I was happy that my fitness came together. Olan and I and Ahmed and a lot of my other teammates, we really put it out there, really pushed each other in training. And I knew I was in good shape, and I just had to execute.
Yeah, I saw you shush the crowd coming across the line. It's gonna make headlines, that picture. But you know, what's going through your head running away from Nico those final 200 meters?
Well, it's nothing personal to anybody. This is track and field. This is very competitive. But I feel like sometimes they kind of outlook us, Nas Elite Group. And I feel like we have a really strong team that consists from 1500 all the way to marathon. And we had a great combination of people. And so I knew we built off of each other in training. And I know I just got to execute here. I wanted to close fast. That's one thing that I always struggled with in college. And I could never really put it together at NCAA level. I'm talking about track and field. And we really start working on those closing speeds, very specific workouts, which I haven't done before. Focusing on that specific speed in the last 800, 600, 400. And I'm really happy that we could put it together and I was able to get away with the win. But like I said again, a great deal of respect for everybody, for Nico Young and everybody else in the field. They are spectacular athletes. And for me, even to get away with a win was so close and it was so tough. It wasn't easy, not for a minute.
Yeah.
So,
tell me a little bit about those workouts. You don't have to, give me the entire rundown. But you don't have to give me the entire rundown. But how do you work on speed, that closing speed in those workouts?
Well, I was always very good in my strength, my aerobic base, and that's always the first point for me to focus on my aerobic ability. But then we did very specific workouts. Let's say sets of 800s, and then we really just work each 200. But when you are really tired, not in the beginning of the workout, but when you're really tired and trying to push those paces. And I'm always the one trying to push and get antsy every time because I know in a race like this, there's so many good athletes. Look at Nico Young, he just ran 357 in 7,000 feet elevation, which blew my mind in a week. And I was like, shit, I still have to come here and put together a really good race. So I was just focusing on my goal and what I've been training for after the cross champs, and I knew I was in pretty good shape.
Yeah, everyone's so good now. It almost comes down to the kick, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Obviously, Nagoose has a crazy kick.
Yeah.
How were you able to kind of put that aside? Mentally coming into this race. I mean, granted, you were in a different race, but going into the week, you didn't know what heat you were going to be in. You didn't know who you were going to be racing with. How did you kind of approach practice?
Well, I focused on guys like Nagoose and the on guys, and obviously Abdinur and Woody Kincaid, and as well Nico Young. I focus on those specific group of people that I know that always been really good kicks. And I know my aerobic abilities are par with everybody in the field. The only thing for me was always working in that closing speed. And that's like I said, for the past few weeks, I really put a lot of emphasis on getting that right. And we did a few great sessions in Phoenix. And that really, I was already at that point, coach and I were talking, and I was running race pace pretty comfortably, and I was able to really close towards the end of my workouts and put in 56ers in or 57s regularly in towards the end of my workout. So yeah, that's pretty good.
So it's obviously just the beginning of the year, but it's a long year ahead. Obviously the Olympic year. How do you approach the next few months trying to keep your legs as crisp and fast as possible while still running these crazy fast times?
Yeah, and that's the thing that coach and I, Coach Zach Malini, we sat down and we really discussed what I want to do. My big focus is Olympics, so everything in between is just getting ready for that. And so we were deciding and we were talking that, well, I'm not going to race a lot. So each race that I come in, I try to be as ready as possible, get fast times. So I'm not racing until the 10 after this, and that's very intentional. We're trying to get very specific races. I don't have a lot of races on my calendar, so every time that I get to compete, I'm really making sure that I don't need a rush buster, but getting it right off. And so just building from there towards the Olympics, and maybe get a diamond link of two towards the end. Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do over the span of 2024. Congratulations, 12:56.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.